I finally bought a no-till drill, and I never expected to be able to do that. If you've watched the channel for a while, you may remember me saying that no-till drills aren't particularly practical for small livestock farmers like me. I'm Rod from Dowdle Family Farms, and I'm on a mission to grow more livestock feed on our farm, especially for our pigs, using cover crops while also rebuilding the soil health and the ecosystems on our farm. In this video, it's all about why I purchased the drill. I plan on comparing it with our other planting methods and how it worked for the first time. No-till planting is exceptionally popular in regenerative agriculture circles. Rather than having to till the soil before planting, no-till drills have a coulter along the front that cut a thin slice into the ground. Then they have a pair of disc openers, which are usually just two discs at a slight angle that open a small furrow in the ground. The seed drops into the tube in that furrow in between those disc openers, and then it's covered by the machine. We've rented a few through our local soil and water conservation office, but they never quite worked out right, and there's no one dedicated to maintain them. No-till drills are incredibly expensive, and a new no-till John Deere drill that we'd rented has a base cost of $60,000. We just can't justify that expense on our small farm. And then a 6-foot drill from Great Plains, it's also the Land Pride, is about $18,000. And so I've been disking the top 2 or 3 inches of the soil, broadcasting the cover crops, and then covering it up. While it's not ideal, it has enabled us to grow cover crops for our livestock, and we've seen a lot of benefit in terms of soil health. It has enabled us to improve our soil health, test out cover crops, and feed our livestock. I saw a no-till drill for sale locally on Facebook Marketplace for under $4,000. What sparked my interest is that it was made by LMC Ag. You see, I knew of LMC Ag because they're based in Albany, Georgia, about 50-60 miles from where I lived in Ocilla for 8 years. I saw them at an ag show in Moultrie, demonstrating pecan harvesting equipment probably 10 years ago, and because of that, I purchased my first 4-foot tiller from LMC Ag. It was heavy duty, exceptional quality, and I really liked the company, the customer service. They're easy to deal with, and the staff knows their equipment really well. I was not able to purchase that drill, but I called LMC Ag, and my local John Deere dealer was a dealer for them. It's a small, lightweight drill, 78 inches wide, 7 1/4 inch spacing between rows. It has a large seed and a small seed box with different gearing. I'll update more about the machine more fully later. This video though is really about why I purchased it. This machine is designed for a small tractor. In fact, you can probably see that I have a 44 horsepower tractor. It does not require rear hydraulics, and it's ground driven. Now, LMC Ag makes 2 different models. This is the lighter weight model, and then they also have in this lighter weight model one that's 55 inches. Specs call for a 50 horsepower tractor, but it's based primarily on the lift capacity at the 3-point hitch. My tractor is a lower horsepower but larger frame size, so it can lift 2,500 pounds at 24 inches behind the lift arms. If you're wondering what size you need, your sales rep can probably check the specs of their tractor. If need be, they'll get back to their LMC Ag rep like mine did and help you out. Now, let me say, I'm not sponsored by LMC Ag. I believe in the company. I love their customer service, and thus far, the products that I've purchased have been excellent. What I have discovered through purchasing this drill, though, is that even though you have to purchase through a dealer, the staff at LMC Ag is there to help with customer service. My dealer has only sold 2 of these drills, a heavy duty and this one, and they didn't know the specifics of this particular drill like they do the John Deere drills. Let me just say a warning: if you call the LMC Ag office and you need some help. Now, the cost of the drill cost me $7,800 plus tax, much better than the $17,000 or $18,000 for the Great Plains drill, and a whole lot better than the 10-foot John Deere drill. The LMC Ag drills are designed for smaller tractor use, and they fit my context well. I suspect that their primary target is to market for wildlife enthusiasts, but for small regenerative type farmers like me, there's a wonderful opportunity. But after calculating how much I spent planting last year, this drill pays for itself. Last year I planted cover crops on 24 acres. Most of those acres received at least 2 plantings of cover crops, and some of them got 4 different plantings. The first time I planted on pasture, I disked the soil several times to break up the sod. It was miserable. I have an 8-foot disc behind my lightweight tractor, this one here behind me, and it bounced me everywhere. I wasn't disking deep either, just a couple inches. I did not keep really good records on my planting and what it cost me, but it was roughly 50 to 60 hours to plant those 24 acres. 40 of those, the tractor was running wide open, pulling the disc. The tractor was underpowered for such a large disc, and I bounced all over the ground while disking. They reminded me of my ill-fated attempt for bull riding in a rodeo. I easily burned $250 in fuel and probably closer to $300 just planting the cover crops, and that does not include the cost of planting the cool season crops in September. It cost me over $15 an acre in fuel and 3 hours of tractor time to plant that first crop. Now the second crops were closer to about $8 an acre and an hour to hour and a half of tractor time to plant. Now a few weeks ago I planted some crops of grazing wheat and winter peas, and I planted at 2 acres per hour with lower RPMs on the tractor, less strain, less fuel, and etc. Now this equipment is saving money, saving time in planting, and it's well worth it. I may do a different video on that later, but essentially I can do more with less time and energy with this piece of equipment. The slits that you see in the ground in the pictures is where I planted with a seeder, and where this planter really shines to me is that you can plant in less opportune circumstances than with a disc and still get reasonable results. Now we are in the season of mud here in Mississippi. We don't have much of a winter, but it rains a lot from January through March, and our clay soils hold a lot of water. Running a disc in the soil is bad, walking across it is bad, and I've tried dozens of ways to plant this time of the year, including broadcasting seed on bare ground, planting with livestock, and others only to get sporadic germination. I have planted 2 different crops with this drill, and you can see how wet it was when I planted. I left ruts in the field. And before you yell at me for tearing up the soil, understand that sometimes testing things out, things like this happen. I know it's not ideal. However, I got much better germination rates than what I expected. What did not germinate was where there was water standing for several days and it kind of flooded the seed. I don't expect these areas to grow. However, being able to grow 50 to 90% of these fields is huge in the winter. Finally, I'm growing cover crops on our farm for our pigs to eat. I'm reducing pig feed costs significantly to do this. I'm not sure whether I could justify the cost of a no-till drill for a conventional cattle operation. Like if we sold them at a sale barn, we might. However, we grass finish our cattle, so that helps us justify the cost of better feed that we can grow for them in cover crops. Growing more cover crops for our pigs is more than just cost savings though. Granted, I'm spending nearly $2,000 a month on pig feed at the moment, and sometimes it's much more, sometimes it's much less. But if I reduce that cost by 25%, and I think I can do more, it's a huge savings, particularly in months like December through February when it's too wet to plant with a disc or broadcasting. However, replacing a substantive portion of our pigs' diet on diverse cover crops increases the nutritional quality of the pork that is hard to replicate elsewhere. What I mean by that is the ability to grow more forage for our pigs year-round with this machine helps in more ways than just the cost savings of planting in April and September. Now, when I purchased this drill to save time, money, and energy, it also offers a lot of other benefits, like helping improve the soils on our farm, producing higher quality grass-finished beef, and outstanding pastured pork. So far, this drill has been a game changer for me. There are advantages and disadvantages like all things, but for the price, the quality, and the reputation of the company, it's incredibly hard to beat such a good product. Stay tuned for the next video. I'll show how it works, calibrating the drill, and some of that kind of stuff. Take care and have a great day.